Hello guys, Kasper from Toddle here. Today I'll be starting on our tutorial series, a series where we're going to build a web app, a Airbnb clone, a place for users to rent out their homes. And the idea is to create several videos where we go through different features, different sections of the app. We're going to update the template, which you can find in Toddle, as I'm adding features as we go along. So you can follow along yourself, or you can wait for the entire app to be finished as a template in Toddle. Yeah, let's dig in. Okay, so now we are in Toddle and we are about to create our rental app. I'll be clicking Open App up here. And I will be creating a brand new project by clicking up here. I'm actually taken to our template section at the moment, and as we go forward I'll be seeing the rental app template somewhere here as we are going to add the template. But for now we are starting from scratch and we'll be building it from the ground up. I'll be setting this blank template. I'm prompted to select an emoji. I will go for boom, pizza in this case. Yeah, that's the way it is. I will name this rental. And as you can see down here below, I'm getting a preview of my URL, the page that I'm going to be able to preview my site on. I will be creating a project, and I will wait a bit. There we go. And I'm actually in my rental app project as we speak. Up here I can see a preview of my particular site. It's empty at the moment, of course. I see this thing called dev by Kasper Hansen. That's my name. This is a branch I can use right away if I want to create changes to this particular app. Let's do that. I can also create a new branch if I feel like it and name it something else, but we provide this sort of default branch for all projects called dev, meaning development. So I will dig into this one. Yep, and as you can see, it's a completely empty canvas. Not completely empty, but there are a couple of things here, a H1 and a paragraph. I will be deleting those guys as I don't need them. Oh yeah, empty canvas, the best thing in the world and the worst thing in the world. So let's add something here. I imagine sort of a header up here, and I imagine that on our front page we're going to display the most popular listings or any given listings for now. I will be updating this template as we go along, and it will not look like this when we are at the finish or the last video. But let's dig into it. I will be creating, let's say I need a top navigation bar. Yeah, I will be creating a new component. So I'm in my components section here. Let's add a top bar. So it's empty, of course. Let's add a height to it. I'm going for 14 units, total units in this case. You just have to multiply it by 4 and you get the value in pixels. Let's make it a color so we can see what's going on. I'll just move myself over here. Let's start by using this gray 200. And we can return to our home page, this guy up here, and change the background color for this. It's 100. Oh, that's maybe fine, actually. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And we can add the component we just created. It's called top bar. There you go. You can't see anything. Of course, I will need to wrap it in a container called a div, like so. I'll add it in here. And just need to change the ordering of this, and it should appear in the top. There might be some padding involved here. Yeah, I'll remove that. And now my top bar should be shown in the very top. I'll add a width of 100% to this one, so now you can see the gray top bar is up here. Cool, that's the first step. So I want to add a bit of content to our top bar. I will go into the top by double clicking it like so, and I'm in the top bar now. And I want to add a logo for our particular app. And I actually created that in Figma and exported it as a SVG, which I can copy paste here. This is not no code, I know that, but this is the way we do it for now. So yeah, I have my SVG in here, my rental app logo, and I can just sort of tweak the content layout like so, so it's in the middle. Maybe add a bit of padding to this one. 4 maybe, yeah, that seems good. And the idea is to have this logo serve as a link to our homepage. To do that, I will need to add a link. Drag it up here, and I want to use the SVG within the link, and I don't need the link text. There you go. So now this entire thing should be a link. It's a bit wide at the moment, but we will look at that later. Attributes. Here I can change where the link go to. And in my case, I want to go to the home page and do that by typing in slash here. So I can test this out. Yeah, it's a link. Does it go anywhere if I click it? Let me see. Yeah, it goes to the home page. Pretty cool. So now I feel like I want to add a bit more to my top bar. I'll just start by going into the component itself. Now I'm in the top bar. I think I want to add a button for triggering the mobile menu. It should go up here in the top right corner. So I'll just minimize this one, and I will add a button to the top bar. I can do that by pressing the E. E is a shortcut for adding element, E for element. Here I will add a button. There you go, the button is in. And as you can see, it's stacked beneath my icon at the moment. That's due to the layout structure of this particular container, this div up here. If I go down to the content section, I can see the ordering of the elements within this container. It's set to column at the moment. I will switch it to row. And now those two elements are placed next to each other in a row. But I want my button to be up here. By the way, it's just text saying button right now. It should be, of course, be an icon or something else. But I want this button to be placed to the right-hand side. I can do that by going into the content section again and then aligning it evenly to each side. App icon over here, go into the home page, and my button triggering the mobile menu over here. I'm not quite satisfied with the label button, so I want to put something else in here. And in this particular case, I'll just add some size to it, 10 in the width and 10 in the height. That should be sufficient for a big thumb. And let me just find an icon. I'm using this site called Table Icons. They are pretty cool and easy to find the icon that you need. I will type in menu, and I'll use this first here. I can copy it just by clicking it. There you go. Copy it, and I can paste it into my button. I could make this icon as a component as well, but for this use case, it's perfectly fine. It's not centered evenly in the middle, so I will do that by modifying the layout, the content section down here. So now I have a menu button in the top right corner. That's pretty cool. Let me see. Mobile view, tablet view, and desktop view. Of course, I'm going to remove it for the desktop view, but for now, let's just work with the mobile view. Okay, so I have my structure, my layout, and I have... Oh yeah, I need a variable for actually triggering the overlay, the mobile menu itself. And by doing that, I will go into the data section. So looking at my panel on the left-hand side, I have layout and I have data. I will go to the data, and I'm adding a variable because variables allow me to apply some logic, some basic logic to this layout. I will add a variable. I will name it show mobile menu. That should be a suitable name. And this particular variable is going to be a Boolean, meaning that it can either be false or true. two options, either false or true. I will start by having this set to false. So either I show the mobile menu or I don't show the mobile menu. Done. I got the structure, I got the variable. Now I just need to tie those two together. And I do that by selecting my button over here in my tree. Let me just minimize the SVG icon itself. I go to my button and I go to this event section over here in the right hand side. I will click event and I will add an event. And this is going to be a click event. So whenever I click this button, I want to change my variable from being false to being true, meaning that I can show the element that I'm going to add, the element being the mobile menu. So let me just add it here. So when I click the particular button, what should happen? Set show mobile menu. Yes, that is true. This is sort of we're calling this workflow. So this is the order of how things actually appear or are handled within the app. So I will go in here and I will modify the variable in here. This is our formula view. This is where we modify data. And in this case, I want to modify the variable I just created, the show mobile menu. So here I can see it's set to false, and as you recall, I want to be able to push this button and I want to change the variable from being false to being true. I want to show my mobile menu. So in this case, I want to modify this false value to something else than false, and that could, for instance, be not false in this case. This is the easiest option to do that, so I will stick to that. I think we're going to elaborate a bit more on how we are structuring and modifying variables and component data and so on in a different video. But for now, let's just play along with this setup. So I just return to my layout again. Once again, just to recap, my button has an event attached to it. The event is controlled in here or modified in here by this workflow. When I click the button, then I should set the show mobile menu, the variable I created, and the data itself, the variable itself, is modified according to this formula. Starting out as false, it should not be false, it should be true. I can return to my workflow and I can return to my design view. Yeah. Then what? I need to show something. I need to design the actual mobile menu. For now, this is just empty. So let me design a section for the mobile menu. I will type in E and I will add a container again called a div, as you recall, down here. And now I need to add a bit of design to this one. I want to have this take up the entire space of my screen when I trigger it. So it should be 100% width and 100% height. But as you can see, it sort of plays quite weird next to the other elements within the header. In this case, I will go for an absolute value, meaning that it's not placed in relation to the other elements. And I want to add a specific value. It should be placed 0 total units to the left hand side and 0 to the top side. Sorry. So now this container needs to have a bit of color. I think we used gray 200, yeah. So as you can see, my mobile menu, the menu that's supposed to be filling out the entire screen when I'm on mobile, it's only taking up the exact same place of the container in which it is placed. And that's because it is set to 14 here. And I'm proclaiming that this particular div should have 100% height. And that's only going to be the 14 total units. So what I need to do is change this from percent to VH, meaning view height. There you go. And now it takes up the entire screen. But I don't want to be showing this mobile menu all the time. It needs to be shown only when I click the burger menu. So for doing that, I will need to dig into a feature called show height, and I can access that by either right-clicking the particular element, and I'll get this small menu, and I can select show height, or I can find the exact same thing placed under attributes over here, under the show category. I will use this feature. Okay, so the idea is I need to tie this logic of when I'm showing or hiding this mobile menu to the variable I just created, the one called show mobile menu, which again is modified when I click the button through this click event. Yeah, I'm going to elaborate and show it once again, but let's just play along. So I want the show feature to be tied to my show mobile variable. In this case, it is false. That's the default value I set. And yeah, I don't want to be showing it as a default, so this seems perfectly fine for now. Please don't show my menu. It's false. Yes, makes sense. Let's return. And as you can see here, there's no mobile menu shown. If I'm lucky, it works right out of the box, and I can test that by clicking either T on my keyboard, or I can access this test screen by pressing the play icon down below. So now I'm testing my particular app. Let me just click this up here. And yeah, as you can see, yes, now I can see my mobile menu. I don't have a button for closing it, so tough luck. For now, I need to refresh, and then I will get back to the initial state. We are working on implementing more test features within here. Right now, just completely blank. So let me just recap how I made this mobile menu appear. Once again, I have my layout, my design. I have a button up here, a button that I'm clicking. And this particular button has attached an event to it, a click event in this case. And I can see that by this small yellow-orange icon next to it. It's placed over here, click event. And I can access the click event by clicking here. And then I'm within my my workflow for this particular event. When I click, then please set show mobile menu to whatever the logic dictates in this small section here. And this logic is defined by this formula. I have my variable show mobile menu, and it's going to be not false, not the initial state I put it in. There are several smaller modifiers or smaller formulas within here that we're going to cover in a different video. For now, I'll just exit this formula view, and I will exit my workflow view to return to my design view. Yeah, and when I enter the test mode, I can test out my feature. I'm not going to do it now, hence I will need to refresh my application. But when I click the button, I should see the mobile menu, the full screen overlay that I showed you before. And it's triggered by this show feature, which you can see is indicated by this green icon, which I can access over here. I can also just right click show height, and then I'm in this formula, which ties my variable show mobile menu to the show height feature. So whatever it's in my my variable, that's going to affect the show height feature. In this case, a boolean, making the show height either true or false. It's pretty simple. So for now, maybe let's add a close icon to the mobile menu. I'll just remove myself and place myself over here. In here, I am going to add a button that's doing more or less the same thing as the button that is triggering the mobile menu. So I can just copy this one actually and paste it in here. So now I have the button within this one. I can't see this particular one because I haven't triggered this mobile menu in this container yet. I can do that by going to the test view and triggering like this. As you can see, now I get this hamburger icon in here. That's not the icon I'm looking for, so I will remove the SVG icon down here. And I will return to table icons, where I will find an icon for close. What should I type to get this icon? Click it to copy. Yes, thanks. And paste it into this button. Okay. It shouldn't be placed to this side. I want to have it on the right-hand side. But at the same time, I want to display the rental icon as well. I can do a bit of modifying the set index, and set index is the value that's sort of modifying in which orders elements are placed or stacked on top of each other. And I want to have this rental icon placed in the very top. You can't see it at the moment, it's hidden behind my mobile menu. But now it's visible because I just entered this set index value of 2. It can be either value. You have all the numbers you want to play along with, but I'll press 2 because I need a different value for, or do I? No, I don't. Let's make it 1. And then I want to have this icon placed to the right hand side, and I can do that by making an absolute value and placing it 0. Oh, no, let's make it 2 total units to the right hand side and 2 from the top. That's aligned, yeah. Cool. So let's just have a look at the logic for closing the mobile menu again. Let me just remove my cell over here. And then I go into the button here. I can see the event attached to it. And I will go to the event section and I will enter the workflow. When I click it, set show mobile menu to false. I can see now the show mobile menu is actually set to true because I have already triggered the mobile view, the mobile menu, sorry, the overlay. So in order to switch this around, I will need to exit this formula and exit this workflow and then return to my app. And then since we don't have a reset button at the moment, I just need to refresh my browser like so. And then the variable returns to initial state again. I could also go into the variable in the data tab and just type in true, for instance, in this case. And now you can see my mobile menu is triggered. I'll go in and change it back to false, like this. So the logic for showing and hiding my mobile menu is actually the same. I'm just modifying the show mobile menu variable from being false to being true back and forth. So let's test this out. Open the mobile menu and close the mobile menu. Oh, they are not that nicely aligned, the closing icon and the burger menu. Let's just fix that by exiting the test view. And then maybe changing the padding for this particular container from 4 to 2. Now they should be better aligned. Let's test it. Yep, way better. Cool. That's it for the mobile menu for now. I'm going to be adding a lot of stuff, different menu items for different sections of our page going forward. But for now, we have this sort of basic logic for just showing and hiding the mobile menu. And of course, when I go to different sort of breakpoints, I will need the burger menu to disappear when I go to the desktop view. But let's look at that at a later stage. Okay, so now I want to create something different. Let's return to my home page. I can do this by clicking this entire button up here, in which case I get a complete overview of what's actually in my project. And for now, I only got one component called top bar, it's this one, and my home page. Let me return to my home page. Okay, so I imagine that we're going to display some listings, some housings, some apartments for our users to rent. Boom. Okay, how do such a setup look like? Let's create a component for actually showing one particular house or one particular apartment. This component could be called, let's say, listing. I will create this component. And in my case, I know for a fact that I want to display a picture of the particular place and some details, maybe a headline, a paragraph, and the pricing of the particular place. So let's start by adding an image. I will press E, or I can go up here and press the plus icon next to elements. And I will search for image. There we go, image. For some reason we ship toddle with these cat images as a default. Yeah, so be it. And I want to have a heading as well. In my case, I'm going for a heading. Let's make it heading 2. Sorry, heading 2. And I want to display a small paragraph, some details about the place as well. And I'm going to add this to my main container, my main div up here. I'll press E and I will add a paragraph. There you go. And then we should display the price as well. And that could be another paragraph. So I'm just copying this one and inserting in this very container. Okay, let's go and style this particular component a bit. I want to have a fixed height for the image. It's going to be 80. Oh, as you can see now the image is a bit warped, and that's because I need to modify how the object fit is set. At the moment we don't have any no-code solution for this, so we will be cheating a bit. So no-code purist, please close your eyes. For now I'm going to type in object fit, and in this case it's called cover, and the image will take up the space available. Yeah, this is not no-code, but yeah, play along. We are going to fix it eventually, we promise. Cool. Then maybe add a bit of spacing between the element. I can do that by going into the container and play a bit with this setting called gap, and I can put in a spacing value, in this case 2. And let's maybe add some mock data to it. So heading 2 is going to be, I imagine, the city and the state. Yeah, let's go for Palo Alto in California. There we go. And a paragraph, a small description could be something like a very nice place with a lot of cool stuff next to it. And then a price. Let's style this a bit different. The same go for this paragraph. Let's make it a bit smaller. Small, and the paragraph should be bold. Oh, so the price should be bold, and a bigger. Let's go for Excel. So yeah, and I'll just add a mock pricing for it. This will cost you $300 per night. Yeah. So this is my initial markup. Oh, maybe some rounded corner to the image. I'm going to go to the corner section and put in 3. Cool. So this is the basic structure of my component called listing, for which I'm going to be using for displaying the particular listings. So, as the final thing for this particular video, let me just return to my homepage, and I will add in this newly created component I just made. I'll do that by clicking the Add Elements icon up here, and I named it Listing, as I recall. Yeah, Listing, there you go. And now the listing is in here. I could add a container just to keep track of it. Drag it up here and drag it into the container. So my listing is in the container, and the same way my top bar is in a container. Just a way of sort of structuring and ordering it. It can make sense going forward. Just play along for now. Yeah, oh, maybe I'll add a bit of padding to make it look nice. Where is my padding section? Down here, yep. 4. So for now, I'm not going to touch this setup. This is it for this particular video, but stay tuned for the next couple of videos, which I'm going to be releasing in the next couple of weeks or days if I'm up for it, but I'm going to sort of elaborate and keep working on this particular template, and we plan on releasing the template for you guys to follow along, so you can sort of dig in at the same stage I'm in. So if you are up for it, then please try and keep up and do the same thing as I do. I will try to make this video available as soon as I add more details and more design to the app. But yeah, for now, just play around with this initial setup involving creating components and just adding basic styling and basic logic to elements. Cool. Oh, sorry, one more thing before you leave. I'm not actually a developer. I'm actually a former UI UX designer, and I'm used to be playing along with colors and border radius and padding and spacing and so on. I'm not actually a developer. I'm creating Toddle alongside with my hardcore developer co-founder Andreas, and he is sort of slowly teaching me how to go about actually creating web apps. So Toddle, as the setup is for now, is actually made up by one developer and one UX UI designer, being me, and I am sort of creating features and stuff in Toddle on a daily basis, day to day, using our own no-code to Toddle. So yeah, we are building Toddle within Toddle, and I am once again a designer, structuring and building a full feature application using our no-code tool. So this video is for you guys to follow my journey of learning how to do proper web apps, how to stick to the web standards, how to do a performant and a nicely structured web application. So if you're up for it, let's try and get better to this. At building web apps and cool landing pages and stuff in the future. Cool. See you guys. Bye bye.